bull or bear for Monday morning? Let's take a look here. Pretty adamant on being a bear. Good morning. Good Saturday morning as well. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals and ConciergeBullion.com in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Actually don't have the Lauderdale by the Sea cams up. You know, the pier fell down, and a lot of the local fish cams that I typically use are completely clouded today. It's really kind of wavy and lots of current out there. But I got the live Homosassa Springs cam up here, which is a really cool camera. As you can see, there's a snook right there, Crevalle jacks, lots of snook out there this morning. This is typically what they call the live manatee cam, but I don't see any manatees, but I do see a whole bunch of tasty snook, great fighting fish, as well as the Crevalle jacks are. And if you live in South Florida and you're a fisherman, you know this already. Not sure you can fish at this place, though. I kind of doubt it. I think it's in one of the state parks here, but not so live. I had to rewind it a little bit because, as you can see, the water is getting cloudier and cloudier. But what has this got to do with the price of gold and silver? Absolutely nothing. Just a nice, beautiful view to start my morning off with, and yours as well, I hope. Feel free to take a look. Again, this is explore.com, I think, underwater manatee cam at Homosassa Springs, one of the beautiful places in South Florida. And if you're a fisherman, too, you can't help but love watching those snook go by. Well, let's get into today's a saying for the day, I guess the quote for the day, which it could apply to this gentleman. It can apply to, I think actually, Edward Snowden is the one that actually made this quote right here, but it applies to pretty much everything that's going on right now. When exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, we are being ruled by criminals, folks, and that's exactly what we've had going on for quite some time. Not just our marketplaces like the gold and silver marketplaces and other marketplaces, I'm sure the cryptos as well. As you can tell with FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried. Bankman-Fried. Why is that man not in prison, in jail, when this man still is in a prison in UK? It just makes no sense to me. And, again, speaking of liars, cheats, and cons, and people that should be in prison, the FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, in my opinion, should definitely be in prison. But again, what do I know? But no less, the media, silent. Politicians on both sides, both red and blue politicians, silent. And how many people have lost? Some people have lost their entire life savings in that FTX scandal. Now, this brings up a good point. Should you put all your money in cryptos? Absolutely freaking not. I don't even like cryptos, to be quite honest with you. I still believe Bitcoin is a creation by the NSA, just like the encryption machine that they used during World War II from Switzerland or wherever it was, that all these countries were buying, were actually being produced by the CIA. No one knew it during wartime. The CIA was producing these high-tech encryption machines so they could read everybody's stuff. And I believe the same thing is with Bitcoin. I believe it's a creation of some kind of, but then again, I'm getting into conspiracy theories. But what is not a conspiracy theory, folks, is this right here. We are being ruled by criminals worldwide, in our country and elsewhere. I mean, the lies are so bold, in your face. They don't even care if they get caught lying anymore. They don't back down. They just double down on their stupid bullshit lies. But I digress, and maybe that's a result of not sleeping well last night, and a little grumpy mood, I guess, right now as well. But why wouldn't you be grumpy when you're being ruled by criminals? All right, let's get into the other criminal market, which is the COMEX, gold and silver and platinum markets. Let me dish that call real quick, folks. Sorry about that. You're going to hear it ring in the background. I am downstairs in the store right now, not in my office where I'm typically at, watching the locals walk by. Beautiful day out here. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about gold, silver, and platinum prices. Man, last couple days since Wednesday, markets are up substantially. 1798. It bopped over. Look, 1805 right there was the high. Silver at 2326. 2326 being the high, 2232 being the low, and platinum hanging on to that over $1,000 mark. What does this mean, folks? Well, it doesn't mean very much, because again, these markets, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. Ted Butler did a great article that I want to read to you, or give you some excerpts on. it's easy to get excited when we see these markets go up, gold, silver, and platinum markets, but we cannot forget that these markets are created in a crooked casino called the CME Group. And why, you ask, would anybody want to play in a crooked casino, in a crooked casino when you know the markets are rigged? Well, the problem is with this crooked casino is for people that understand and can see through all this nonsense. It's easy to see that this crooked behavior is rigged in our favor, folks. So it's like a casino you can go into and actually win by understanding the crooked behaviors and buying these dips, buying these lows. The prices are just so manipulated downward. I mean, they keep capping these prices. Silver for the last 4 decades, at least 4 decades, it runs up and then they cap it again. It runs up, they cap it again, and that's all done in the COMEX, CRIMEX markets. So it's easy to get excited when we start seeing gold moving up in the 1800 level and silver in the silver is moving up, and what were the lows? 18 and change, 1830, I think, were the lows about a month ago, and now what are we up? $3, $4, $5? Holy crap! Almost $4 from the lows in the last month or so. And platinum, again, platinum just unloved. I don't think that's done much, if anything, for the last couple years. It's been in that 950 to 1050 mark for how long? I don't even know. But I like unloved metals like platinum. So I'm not advising anyone to go out there and buy platinum, but I like it. I just think that a commodity that's pretty rare and used as well in electronics and I think not so much catalytic converters like they used to, but in catalyst and that kind of thing. I believe that the metal is just super cheap, and at some point, I am certain that we know that the silver market is freaking rigged to the nth degree. We know that gold is rigged, so platinum certainly has to be rigged. I just believe these are fire sale prices, and that the casino has rigged the prices lower, which provides an advantage to people that know how this game is rigged to go out and buy physical at really cheap prices. And what's great about that too is premiums now are down as well on a lot of these products. I've been talking about that in the last couple of videos. But not much to talk about here. Metals are up. We're waiting for them to be capped again? Yeah, probably. Will silver jump up to above 23 on Monday and maintain its run up? I kind of doubt it. I can't imagine a scenario. Again, they don't even try to hide it anymore, folks. They just come out and slam these markets when they want. But for a lot of you folks that, again, say that, well, why do I want to play in a crooked market? Well, of course the game is rigged, but if you don't play, you can't win. And if you know how the game is rigged, you have all of a sudden become a much better player at that table. In fact, you become a big winner. When you know how someone is rigging something, it gives you the opportunity to take advantage of that knowledge and stick it up their asses, quite frankly. Well, frankly, it's starting to sound like Elmer Fudd there. Quite frankly. Again, these prices are just a gift. Even at 1800, 23, and 1021, these prices are super cheap, folks. At some point, these metals are going to explode to the upside. I have no doubt in my mind that's what's going to happen. Meanwhile, again, who are the crooks, in my opinion, and people that are much smarter than me? It's the world's leading derivative marketplace, the CME Group. This is where gold, silver, and platinum prices are determined, derived, and the prices that you and I and all the other dealers out there that are dealing in physical products, we get our numbers from, all right? But here's the real key to this. Derivatives. They're not selling real gold and silver and platinum. I mean, Ted Butler talks about in his most recent article that the one advantage that the CME Group, the credibility that the CME Group has still to this day, is the fact that they will deliver silver, and they'll deliver the silver. If you want the silver, they will deliver it. That's the only bit of credibility they have today, is the fact that you can take these derivatives, this bullshit paper, and convert it into real 1,000-ounce or COMEX silver bars to be delivered to you. Now, they do everything they can to discourage you from doing that. They like to keep everything in the house, and they don't want to make a huge amount of deliveries. But again, the one credibility that they do have is that you can convert this bullshit derivative paper into real silver and real gold and real platinum. But again, key word being derivatives here, folks. That's mostly what these crooks deal in. And what's a derivative? A lot of you folks already know this, but for some of you that don't and don't feel like Googling it, derivatives are complex financial contracts based on the value of an underlying asset, group or assets or benchmark. These underlying assets include stocks, bonds, commodities, and commodities would be our case, currencies, interest rates, and then even cryptocurrencies. Yeah, we see how that's working out so far. Investors into a derivative contract that clearly states terms or how they and another party will respond to future changes in the value of the underlying asset. Again, underlying asset is a key word. Based on is a key word. And more or less, again, these are just bullshit paper markets, folks. Ted Butler used a phrase in his recent newsletter. I know a lot of you accuse me of having a man crush on Ted Butler. And you know, business-wise and understanding the silver market, yeah, I do have a man crush on Ted Butler because he is the man when it comes to explaining this stuff to us. But Ted Butler used a phrase that I've commonly used for the last 3 years, which is the tail wagging the dog. And COMEX being the tail and physical markets being the dog. And for decades, especially with silver, the COMEX markets, the tail, have been wagging the dog. But no less, I kind of deviated a little bit there. Derivatives may be traded over the counter, OTC meaning investor purchases them through a brokerage dealer or exchanges like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME Group, folks, the world's leading derivative marketplace, one of the largest derivative markets in the world. While exchange traded derivatives are regulated and standardized, OTC derivatives are not. This means that you may be able to profit from an OTC, but you'll also face more danger from counterparty risk. The chance that one party will default on the derivative contract. All right, that's very interesting right there. Well, anyway, that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with gold, silver, and platinum prices. You know, prices that, again, we all use, whether you're buying from me, whether you're buying from one of the other companies, your local dealer, we all use the CME Group's bullshit spot prices. But, you know, what else are you going to use, okay? I don't know what more to say about that. Let me get into, all I know again, this is exactly what this is right here. This is, you know, we expose this crime that's going on in the CME Group markets. We expose the crime. I mean, the proof is in the COT reports. The proof is in, I mean, we've got so much proof and evidence, not excluding the fact that one of the largest precious metal dealers out there, JPM, has been fined almost $1 billion for spoofing gold and silver markets. In fact, JPM was responsible for crashing the 2012 market when silver was almost $50 an ounce and gold was heading up to that $2,200 mark or whatever it was. 2012, JP Morgan was absolutely responsible for crashing those markets. They got caught, they got fined for it. Not many people know this, didn't make the media because the media sucks out there. Anyone that thinks that Fox Business or CNBC or Forbes or Wall Street Journal are honest media market or honest media place or honest sources of information, you've only deceived yourself here. You know, again, folks, you're being ruled by criminals in your government. You're being ruled by criminals in these markets all over the world, including you're being ruled by criminals called the central bankers and Federal Reserve and fiat currencies. All right. Man, I circled around on that pretty good. And why was I getting there? Okay, because of an interesting article, again, by my man crush, Ted Butler, that says nearly everyone is starting to realize that gold and silver are rigged. Now, I kind of wanted to point this out because we are going someplace with this. And I'm going to read into his article here in a little bit. Here's another, JP Morgan market strategist to join New York Fed. I'm going to get to that in a second, but if you're new to my videos, by the way, folks, definitely make sure you have gata.org bookmarked on your bookmark bar up here, because one of the things that I do here is I'm here to sell my business and you know, sell people precious metals. This is an advertising forum for me. Don't get me wrong on that. Don't, you know, I'm not here to pretend that I'm not here to make money. So this is an advertising, a way for me to advertise my business. YouTube videos, I've been doing them for the last 3 years. However, I have found that even prior to doing these videos, the best way to get good customers and make great sales is to educate your customers, because an educated customer is so much easier to deal with, so much easier to buy and sell from. I know that as a dealer, that I love having educated people come in here that understand these markets, understand what the best deals are, and that's what I strive to do in these videos, is to teach folks out there. There's that saying that you can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, or you can teach a man to fish or a person to fish and they'll eat for life. My goal in these videos is to teach you how to fish for yourself. Again, I think it works better for everyone involved, including the dealers that you may deal with. Boy, getting a little roundabout here, and sidetracked as well. Okay, gata.org, it should be on your bookmark bar. JP Morgan strategist to join the New York Fed. Oh, wow. Again, the criminals, we keep talking about the criminals, are all in bed with each other. JP Morgan strategist to join the New York Fed. That's Ted Butler. Nearly everyone's starting to realize that gold and silver rig. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And where was something else in here I wanted to read? I don't see it. Oh, gold market riggers for reinforcement. Here's another interesting. J.P. Morgan Chase & Company will store gold held by the world's biggest exchange-traded fund in its vault. A major coup for the... think about this, folks. Think about this. J.P. Morgan has been caught so many times cheating and spoofing markets. They paid fines. They paid billions of dollars in fines for doing this. Yet they are still allowed to play in these gold and silver and precious metals markets. That would be kind of like, putting a drug addict in charge of fighting the drug war, or putting hiring a security guard that was just a thief and a criminal to take care of your, to look after your neighborhood or your business. Hiring or allowing J.P. Morgan to be in the gold and silver and precious metals markets, despite the fact that they've constantly and consistently have broken laws and cheated markets. Again, they pay their fines is the only reason they get away with it. Proves to you that we're being ruled by criminals, folks. There's no doubt, and no doubt in my mind that's the fact out there. All right. I gave you the reasons why you need to read gata.org and where we're kind of heading with this Ted Butler thing. Let me get to the Ted Butler article real quick. Close but still no cigar. And I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs. I hope he doesn't mind. I do promote his videos out, or not his videos. I do promote his newsletter, by the way. And he has a paid subscription service that you can sign up for and get the newest writings that he has once a week or so. I think it's about $30-something a month. Certainly well worth it, folks. And again, gata.org is great for understanding how the gold markets are rigged. They've been around for quite some time. They talk about that primarily, but nobody talks about how the silver markets are rigged better than Ted Butler. Nobody out there does. And let me kind of read what he says here. It's remarkable to me how close we appear to be getting to near universal recognition that silver and gold, along with a host of other commodities, are priced based upon the activities of a relatively handful of large paper traders on the COMEX and other exchanges, and not on the workings of the world of actual supply and demand. I'm convinced that once the critical level of universal recognition is achieved, and again, this is something we've talked about for quite some time, is that we're stuck dealing with the COMEX gold and silver markets. We're stuck with using those for our spot prices. But the more and more that I think the general public out there starts to understand, the more people that understand that these markets are rigged and that we are being ruled by criminals, I think that the more chances are that they just won't be able to pull it off anymore, especially again with physical shortages that we're seeing. But I digress here. I'm convinced that once the critical level of universal is achieved and appears to be quite close, then we will experience a true free market price, which will be decidedly higher, particularly in silver. Almost every day, I see new evidence of the growing of the number of those questioning the COMEX price. Discovery process in silver is growing, sometimes even without the knowledge of those doing the questioning fully realizing that they are waking up to price manipulation that has existed for decades. And Ted says, wait a minute, I can hear you say, how is it possible for anyone to question the COMEX price discovery process without realizing they are doing just that? And in fact, let me up the ante and provide an example of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about as the anyone, in this case being a quartet of seasoned metals professionals whose combined total experience measure more than a century. It comes in the form of an hour-long discussion put out this week by the LBMA and Silver, the other crooks, folks. And in the interest of full disclosure, I have no relation to the analysts on the panel sharing my name. I'll summarize what was discussed, but here's the link. There's links if you want to read it right there, folks. Just cut and paste that. It seems the discussion resulted from an earlier meeting arranged by the LBMA in which a fairly large number of analysts had offered a consensus price projection for the next year involving a very modest increase in the price of gold, but a quite surprising expectation of a rather dramatic increase in the price of silver of some 50%. So even these guys are starting to talk that they're predicting that silver is going to go up at least 50% next year. So there's acknowledgement by them that these markets have been rigged quite heavily. To go on here, this is very much outside the normal bounds of the typical consensus predictions. The discussion in question, just linked, was intended to examine and reconcile the very bullish price consensus on silver. There was, in my opinion, an accurate and objective presentation of the actual world supply and demand fundamentals in silver, as would be expected, since one of the participants was the head of the research team, Metals Focus, which provided the basis for the Silver Institute's recent bullish silver review, already discussed on these pages. Data discussed included the rather shocking import of nearly 300 million ounces of silver this year by India, fully 35% of the world mine production. Now, this is not paper bullshit derivatives. This is actually real silver that probably is being drained from COMEX and also probably from other areas. That's real silver that's going into the hands of people in India. What commodity could see that level of import demand with prices actually falling? And what Ted Butler here in this comment is just simply pointing out is it's just more proof and evidence that the COMEX silver, gold, and platinum markets are completely fucking rigged, all right? You know, just more evidence, despite the evidence we have in the CO2 reports and elsewhere. To the credit of the panel, there was no attempt to dispute the accuracy of the data, and for the first time in my memory, serious questions were raised about the role of COMEX in the pricing of silver. For example, I was quite shocked to hear that the COMEX was the tail that was wagging the dog. And Ted says he should have put a copyright on that phrase. Folks, if you know, since I started these videos 3 years ago, that is one of my phrases. I have a feeling that somebody may have caught it and been repeating it out there. However, there really is no original thought. But I put a smile on my face when I heard my man crush here say that the tail was wagging the dog. And the tail, again, being who? Most of you listen to me for a couple years now know exactly what I'm talking about. The tail being the criminal CRIMEX derivatives paper markets, and the dog being the physical markets. And again, someone at this meeting here, the LBMA meeting of people that had about 100 years experience, actually used a quote that I've been saying for 3 years, which was, the tail was wagging the dog. Folks, this is a full acknowledgement by this particular group that the physical markets are rigged by the COMEX, CRIMEX markets, as well as the LBMA markets. And let me move along from here. The COMEX is like a speedboat, while the actual supply and demand is like a super tanker. I don't quite get that one, but it's kind of interesting. But Ted says that in this particular group of people at this LBMA meeting, they were obvious attempts to avoid the dreaded M word, the manipulation word. And they were trying to reconcile why the COMEX managed money traders were big net sellers over the balance of the year in the face of extremely bullish physical demand. Again, they're in denial. What do they call that? Cognitive dissonance? I think that's probably what they're suffering, cognitive dissonance. No less, great article by Ted Butler that there's a lot more to go into there, but we'd be here for an hour or two talking about it. And I think if you type this in, Ted did share this out in the open here. You don't have to pay to read this article. Just type in closer, but still no cigar. Recent article by Ted Butler that I believe he has published out there with a few entities that you can read in its entirety. All right. Oh, man, don't you get tired of talking about manipulation? I do. I mean, but it's just part of what we do. It's not the manipulation itself, but part of what we have to deal with in the precious metals markets here. We have to deal with these criminal elements until at some point, again, it gets shoved up their heinies. As far as zero hedge out here, I haven't talked about zero hedge, and I was going to get into some of this, but most of it gets into politics and stuff. But You know, think about this. When exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, we are being ruled by criminals. And I know I keep pounding that into everyone's head today, but you know, this title is proof of that. And what else is proof of that? Shadow. Well, there's so much things out here that are proof that we lived in a very criminal type element when it comes to our markets and our governments. Now I'm starting to sound like a broken record. You know what? I'm not going to talk too much about politics or anything else here. I'm going to kind of call this video because you know, I can jump down a dozen rabbit holes, and I've got some stuff to do as well today. All right. Well, what can I do that no one does better than me on YouTube world and the interweb world? Physical prices. I can explain to you what to buy, what not to buy. I've been doing this since 1977, and I started at this location in 1995. So I've been in this business quite some time, and understanding physical markets, what bars and coins and stuff sell for, what the best deals are, again, are one of the things that I can do better than most all the talking heads out there in YouTube land. Folks out there, as far as silver goes, the worst deal out there is still Silver Eagles. You know, the premiums on them are just ridiculous. Even though, here's something interesting, is my last couple of videos I talked about the constitutional silver and silver. My last video, constitutional silver and silver Eagle prices collapse, and that's basically what happened. Interestingly enough, when silver was 18 to 20 bucks an ounce, you could buy Silver Eagle cost you more than it does right now with silver at 22 plus an ounce. Silver's up almost four and change. Yet what you have to pay for a Silver Eagle is down. Premiums have crashed on Silver Eagles. Premiums have crashed on 90%. And I'm also starting to see premiums go down on 100 ounce, 1 ounce, and 10 ounce Valcambi bars. What does that mean for you? It means that overall, even though the silver prices are up, premiums are down, so you're not going to be paying as much as you think you are. But avoid Silver Eagles, avoid 90% silver. Let's see, what are we selling 90% silver for? We're selling 90% silver for spot plus $7.25 an ounce. We're selling Silver Eagles here. I don't want to sell them, by the way. I wouldn't sell you that stuff. I'd try to talk you out of it if you're trying to buy it from me. Silver Eagles are spot plus $12.50. They were as high as 17 bucks when silver was lower. So you can actually buy Silver Eagles in 90% cheaper now than you could when silver was 4 bucks lower. But does that mean you should? Absolutely not. These products are way overpriced. What are the best deals out there? God, I sound like a broken record for the last 2 or 3 years. Best deals out there, 100 ounce generic silver bars, and we got them here for sale for spot plus like $3. Again, in larger quantities, we can sell them for less. Here's my advertising spiel. As you know, for 30 seconds real quick, we advertise here at Commercial Rare Coins and ConciergeBullion.com to beat Atmex, SD, JM, Bullion, Miles, Franklin, and all the other big boys out there. I'll beat their prices, folks, and the prices that I'm giving you right now are for smaller quantities. All right, that was my advertising. I'm over with that. If you want to know more about how to reach me and how to buy from us, you can watch it at the end of the video here. What am I going to say? $3 over for 100 ounce bars. 1 ounce rounds. I haven't seen them this cheap in such a long time, folks. 1 ounce rounds are spot plus $3.75. As you, I think a lot of the other guys out there have them for a lot more out there, but I can sell them right now for spot plus $3.75. Again, I advertise to beat Atmex, SD, and JM Bullion, and all the big boys out there like Miles Franklin's, all companies that I really super respect. And again, if you're competitive, who do you want to be competitive against? You want to be competitive against the best, and I am. I am competitive against the best. 1 ounce rounds at spot plus $3.75 in small quantities. 10 ounce Valcambi bars, or 10 ounce bars in general, spot plus $4. Actually, oddly enough, 10 ounce bars are a little bit tougher to get right now, and a quarter more than 1 ounce bars, which is very unusual. In that case, I would say stick with the 1 ounces, folks. You can't beat that at spot plus $3.75 versus spot plus $4 for 10 ounce bars. Kilos, next to 100 ounce bars, kilos are the best deal out there as well at spot plus $3.50. And again, I've got them in that for those prices in smaller quantities. If you're looking for larger quantities, we can even go a little bit cheaper on that. As far as, again, products, stay away from 90% silver. Constitutional silver, stay away from it. Stay away from silver Britannia. Stay away from silver Philharmonics. Stay away from silver maple leafs, especially. Man, those prices are getting pretty stupid. If you had to buy them from either Spot Plus 675, but I don't recommend silver maple leafs at all. But again, all the premiums across the board, even on Silver Eagles and 90%, are dropping right now. It doesn't make it a great deal, but they are dropping. As far as gold goes, what's the best deal out there? Man, like a broken record, I'm going to tell you, it's gold 1 ounce bars are still the best deal out there. Any of the bars, Perth Mint, RMC, Sunshine, Valcombis is which we typically. Where's Valcombis? I don't even see Valcombis on here. Must be at the bottom of the search page. But 1 ounce bars at Spot Plus. Let's see, what can I do those for now? In small quantities, Spot Plus 73 bucks. How the hell do you beat that on 1 ounce gold bars? Versus Gold Eagles. Man, Gold Eagles are down substantially from where they've been. They're Spot Plus 155 bucks now. But as I've said many times in the video in the last couple days or last week, is what would you rather have? A Gold Eagle at a Gold Eagle for a certain price. And here, let me give you a price right now. Actually, I'll tell you. Let's see. If I was using this closing price right here, $17.98.35, $17.98.35, we would be selling, give me 1 second here, Gold Eagles for $1,953.35 in small quantities, whereas a gold bar would run you, and 73 bucks over, $18.71. So, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a Gold Eagle by itself for $1,953, or would you rather have a gold bar and 3 ounces of silver for the same price you could buy a Gold Eagle for? Well, I say that's kind of a no-brainer. If I'm going to spend $1,953 and someone says you can buy an Eagle for that price, just a simple ounce of gold and Eagle, or you can buy a gold bar with 3 ounces of silver, I think that's a far better deal, folks. So stick with buying bars, in my opinion. What other products out there? Maple leafs. Maple leafs are, we got them here for like Spot Plus $109 in small quantities. What else? Krugerrands, kind of a limited supply, but it looks like Krugerrands are Spot Plus $100 when you can find them. I think I don't have a lot of Krugerrands on hand right now. It's a little hard to find them, but they are cheaper than maples. But again, bars are the best deal out there. What about Philharmonics? Philharmonics aren't bad. If you can find them, they're Spot Plus 95 bucks. That's what we sell them for. And again, stay away from Gold Eagles. I'd stay away from any of the higher priced products, but you know, people like what they like. Well, I think I'm going to call it, folks. I've got a lot to do today, man. I got to go over and visit my father's business. As you know, I inherited my father's business not too long ago after he passed away. So I'm doing that, doing my coin show that I'm taking over from him, and running my own business. So I'm a little bit overwhelmed right now and got a lot to do. I don't know why I told you that, but I'd like to thank everybody for watching these videos this week. I haven't had an opportunity to go over the comment section. I really do appreciate everybody that makes comments. Typically, I do read them all, but again, the last couple of videos, I've just been stretched so many different ways and overwhelmed with so many different things. Not overwhelmed on the bad side, but just a lot to do that I haven't been doing my typical answering questions on my comments. And I'll get back to that pretty soon as well. Well, hey, catch me on Twitter. I'm out there right now, and here's my page right here. If you want to, Brian Kuzma. I haven't got a picture or anything up there, but hopefully I can answer some questions if you catch me out there. I don't check it all the time, but I think that's it, folks. And also, don't forget, one of the things I inherited that I'm super busy. Actually, that's what I'm working on today and tomorrow as well, is to get ready for this show, the Collectorama Coin Show, December 15th through 17th. This was my father's show. He ran 76 of them. Again, my father passed away, and I just inherited the show, so got a lot to do here. And I hope to see some of you Florida folks here. It's in Lakeland, Florida, and if you go to the collectoramashow.com page here, you can click that free ticket and download free tickets for yourself and your family. Normally it's $5 at the door, but if you bring this ticket, it's free to walk in. Well, That's it, folks. This is Brian Kuzmar with ConciergeBullion.com. If you're buying more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 1,500 ounces of silver, and you live anywhere in the continental U.S., we can help you out here. Secure delivery right to your home or place of business. And we also use secure forms of payments called bank wires. Nothing on the internet. And if you live in South Florida or anywhere in the country and you want to visit us at our brick and mortar store, which is Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals, we're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. You can buy anywhere from $1 to $1 million worth plus of gold, silver, or platinum products. And as I said, we advertise to beat Atmex, SD, and J and Bullion as well, and the big boys out there. So no matter what quantities you want to buy, folks, I'm very competitive and I want your business. Well, that's it. And I'm going to call it here with my quote for the year, which the year is going to be ending pretty soon, which is think for yourself and question authority. All right, folks, hope you have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Bye now.